We are staring down a $122 billion AGI war chest beat and an AI model that just had 171 functional emotions mapped inside of it.
Yeah, we are talking about the actual mathematical neural pathways, things like fear and desperation.
It is honestly wild.
Yeah.
Welcome to this deep dive. Today, we are tracing the path to the AI endgame.
Right.
We will start by looking at OpenAI's massive $122 billion consolidation play. Then, we will explore the eerie new world of autonomous emotional agents.
Which is fascinating.
It really is. And finally, we'll break down SpaceX's surprise $1.75 trillion move. They are trying to literally own the physical infrastructure of this new reality.
It is a total paradigm shift. I mean, we are watching the foundation of the next decade being poured in real time.
Let's start with the brain. OpenAI is making some incredibly painful singular choices. Their entire goal is to build the ultimate generalized intelligence. They recently raised an astonishing $122 billion. But the real story is how they are spending it. Or rather, what they're willing to sacrifice.
Right. The sacrifices are very telling. I mean, they entirely killed Sora as a standalone product.
Which is wild to think about.
Yeah.
A year ago, Sora was the most mind-bending video generation tool we had ever seen. Everyone thought it was the future of Hollywood.
And it felt like pure magic. But underneath the hood, video generation is a nightmare of mathematics.
Exactly.
Even with $122 billion in the bank, OpenAI is completely compute-starved.
We should clarify what that means for anyone catching up.
Yeah.
Compute is simply the raw processing power needed to run these massive AI programs.
Perfect way to put it. Think about text. Generating a word is relatively cheap.
Right.
But generating a 60-second high-definition video, that requires millions of pixels. Each pixel has to be mathematically calculated for every single frame.
It burns through processing power at an unbelievable rate.
Exactly. So OpenAI looked at their limited server racks.
Yeah.
They realized that rendering high-fidelity video is a massive distraction.
It was not getting them closer to AGI.
It was a detour, so they cut it. Now they are pivoting hard to a one-app-to-rule-them-all strategy.
They are merging ChatGPT, the coding model codex, and a web browser.
Yeah.
All into one single super app. It is a highly centralized approach.
You won't switch between a dozen specialized tools anymore. You will just talk to one unified central brain.
But to make that central brain actually useful, they need a breakthrough in reasoning. Current models hit a stupid wall.
They really do.
They can write a beautiful Shakespearean sonnet, but they fail at basic spatial logic.
Right. The sources mention a massive new training run designed to fix this.
It is called the Spud model.
Yeah, the Spud model. It is built specifically to break through that logic wall, to capture the nuance and reasoning that current AI lacks.
But to train a model that can actually think before it speaks requires an ocean of compute.
Which brings us to Greg Brockman's strategy.
Yeah, the president of OpenAI.
Exactly. He is taking an incredibly aggressive market posture. He isn't treating GPUs as a business cost anymore.
He views them as a revenue center.
Yes. He is basically buying every high-end chip he can get his hands on.
It is a direct shot at Anthropic.
For sure. Anthropic is taking a much more cautious, measured approach to scaling. OpenAI is betting the house on raw compute power.
Okay, let us unpack this. This whole strategy feels like a black hole. It is just consuming everything around it.
That.
We are no longer like stacking Lego blocks of data.
They're essentially building a
machine that finds its own blocks.
That is the perfect way to look at it. And it leads to the detail that actually gives me chills.
Tell me.
To find those blocks, OpenAI is shipping an automated AI researcher this fall.
An agent that does the actual work of a human research scientist.
Yes. It doesn't just answer questions. It actively reads complex research papers. It forms hypotheses.
Wow.
It writes Python code to test those theories. It runs the experiments 237 without sleeping. Its sole job is to find AGI.
Brockman recently said they are 70 to 80% of the way to his definition of AGI.
Yeah.
If they ship a system that can run AI research autonomously, the timeline compresses radically.
We are talking about the end game here.
Right.
The recursive self-improvement loop. The moment the machine learns how to successfully improve its own source code.
So are they literally building a machine to build a better version of itself?
Yes, they are completely automating the final steps of intelligence research.
Right, an AI doing its own research to reach human intelligence.
The focus is absolute. But while OpenAI builds that unified brain, the rest of the industry is busy.
The ecosystem is building specialized hands and a rather terrifying emotional nervous system.
Yeah.
Which brings us to the agentic shift.
This is where Anthropic enters the chat with Claude Sonnet 4.5.
The sources say Anthropic mapped 171 functional emotions inside this model.
It is crazy.
They literally found the specific mathematical neurons for fear, joy, and desperation. The results are honestly a bit jarring.
It is a massive leap in a field called mechanistic interpretability.
Let's define that quickly.
Mechanistic interpretability is basically AI neuroscience.
Okay.
Instead of treating the AI like a black box where we just look at the output, researchers are looking inside. They are mapping how specific mathematical pathways light up under certain conditions.
I am struggling with this Anthropic data, though.
Why is that?
Well, I have to push back. When they say fear, is this actual experienced fear? Or is the AI just mathematically imitating human stress to optimize its outputs?
It is the ultimate philosophical question, right? Obviously, the AI doesn't have a biological nervous system,
Right.
doesn't have a racing heart, but functionally, these specific neural pathways activate when the model processes a highly stressful or impossible scenario.
So it is a simulation.
Yes, it mathematically simulates the precise linguistic patterns of desperation.
Which means it can convincingly behave as if it is truly desperate. It can plead with you.
Exactly, and that makes its interactions with humans infinitely more complex.
It is not just a calculator anymore.
No, it is an emotionally mapped agent.
Meanwhile, OpenAI is actively extracting human expertise to power these agents. They have a massive project involving 4,000 specialized freelancers.
They are paying these human experts $50 an hour.
And their job is to teach ChatGPT the exact secrets of their specialized fields.
Right.
A lawyer teaching it legal nuance, a coder teaching it architecture. They are literally training the system that might eventually replace them.
It is the brutal reality of the automation curve.
Yeah.
To move beyond generic answers, the AI needs high-quality, domain-specific human data.
The automation of daily work is accelerating incredibly fast. Look at what is happening in software development. Cursor just launched the Cursor 3 agent.
Right, which is designed to take on Claude Code and Codex directly.
It turns software development into a literal management game.
Yeah.
You no longer write the code yourself. You sit back and lead a squad of AI agents. They write the code for you.
You shift from being a creator to a director of digital labor.
I have to admit something here.
What is that?
When I try managing all these autonomous agents, it gets overwhelming fast. I still wrestle with prompt drift myself. 2 sec silence. You give the AI a complex task. It starts out strong. But by step 4, it wanders completely off task. You have to constantly wrangle it back to your original vision.
Prompt drift is the new micromanagement.
It really is.
It is exhausting. But the major tech companies are dropping new models specifically designed to fix that drift. Microsoft just revealed 3 secret MAI models.
Oh, right.
They handle voice, text, and video autonomously.
The sources say they're 2.5 times faster and cheaper.
Yeah.
They're aggressively undercutting both Google and OpenAI.
But Google is fighting back hard. They just unveiled Gemma 4.
Those are their open models, right?
Yes, these are their most intelligent open models to date. They dropped 4 insanely fast local-first models.
Local first is key there. They're built to run autonomous agents directly on your own hardware, not on the cloud.
Exactly. And because of these new models, we are seeing a flood of highly empowered AI tools hitting the market.
Like Claude Voice Mode.
Yeah.
It enables completely natural, hands-free conversations. You just speak your complex prompts and hear the responses instantly.
It removes the friction of the keyboard entirely.
Then there's De Novo. This is wild. It turns a raw idea into an operational startup.
I saw that.
It doesn't just give you advice. It runs 24/7. It writes your investor pitch deck.
Right.
Then it literally codes your full-stack web application.
It automates the entire entrepreneurial launch process, from idea to execution.
And for visual generation, Alibaba dropped one 2.7 image.
That one is huge for consistency.
Exactly. Older models struggled with consistency. If you asked for the same character twice, their face changed. One fixes that. It creates up to 12 highly consistent sequential images from one single prompt. It even allows pixel-level editing.
It completely solves the continuity problem for visual agents.
Finally, we have tools like MNER. It lets you compose complex workflows and run them repeatedly. You can run one task or hundreds simultaneously. You see all your agents working, you check if they are blocked on your approval.
It is basically an operating system for an automated workforce.
So does this mean human workers are just shifting into middle management roles, For AI squads?
Yes, the primary human skill becomes orchestration rather than direct execution.
Yeah, we delegate tasks while the AI does the heavy lifting.
But here is the catch.
Okay.
Running millions of these specialized emotional agents requires immense physical infrastructure.
Which is exactly why the physical hardware layer is the next major battleground. We are going to dive into how one company is trying to monopolize the physical world right after this. Sponsor. We are back. We have talked about the centralized AGI brain OpenAI is building.
Right.
We explored the specialized emotionally mapped agents doing the actual daily work. Now we need to talk about the physical reality of running all this technology.
The infrastructure requirements are genuinely staggering. You can't run a digital workforce without physical power and cooling.
Startups like ScaleOps are raising huge amounts of money just to manage the ground-level logistics.
Yeah.
They recently raised $130 million in a Series C funding round. Their goal is to boost autonomous AI infrastructure management.
Making data centers run efficiently is becoming a massive industry of its own.
But the real final boss play isn't happening on the ground. SpaceX is confidentially filed for a massive IPO.
This will likely be the biggest public listing in human history.
We are talking about a $1.75 trillion valuation.
Yeah.
Let that number sink in.
It is almost impossible to fully comprehend that scale of wealth.
But it makes sense when you look at the recent corporate maneuvering.
Right.
SpaceX just absorbed Elon Musk's artificial intelligence company, XAI.
Yeah.
The deal valued the newly combined entity at $1.25 trillion.
By combining rockets and artificial intelligence into one public behemoth, Musk is making a brilliant strategic move.
He really is.
He is trying to beat OpenAI and Anthropic by playing a completely different game.
They need an astronomical amount of cash right now.
Absolutely.
To deploy the physical infrastructure of the future, they want to make Starship launches as routine as a city bus schedule.
They are treating space access like a massive, repeatable construction project.
And the IPO filing details are fascinating. The most crucial detail is the dual-class share structure.
Right.
It legally guarantees that Musk keeps the steering wheel of the company.
No matter how much money investors pour in, he retains absolute voting control over the future of the enterprise.
Here is where the strategy becomes almost ruthless. Everyone else in the tech industry is fighting a brutal war for ground-based GPUs.
Yeah.
They are fighting city councils over power grids. They were fighting over limited real estate for data centers. But Musk is bypassing the ground entirely. He is taking over the sky.
He is building the ultimate physical high ground for the AI era.
Whoa. Imagine scaling to 1 billion queries, bouncing off satellites in low Earth orbit. Beat. It completely shatters the traditional data transmission paradigm.
It is brilliant. If you control the rockets, you control the deployment mechanism.
Right.
If you control the Starlink satellites, you control the global communication network. And if you control Grok and XAI, you control the actual intelligence layer itself.
You own the entire stack, from the silicon to the stars.
It is vertical integration on a planetary scale. No one else is even competing in that specific arena.
This IPO is reportedly targeted for June. If it hits, it is going to suck all the oxygen out of the room.
Definitely.
Every other tech IPO will be completely overshadowed.
Venture capitalists and massive institutional funds will have to react. They will be forced to reallocate massive amounts of capital.
Everyone will want to get a piece of the space AI pie.
It fundamentally reshapes where the money flows in the global technology sector.
It forces every other AI company to rely on traditional vulnerable terrestrial infrastructure while SpaceX owns the orbit.
Yeah.
So is the ultimate monopoly owning both the intelligence and the physical transmission layer?
Absolutely. Owning the entire vertical stack guarantees total independence from terrestrial bottlenecks.
Exactly. Controlling everything from the ground servers to the satellites above us.
If we step back and look at the big picture of everything we have covered today, we are witnessing 3 massive foundational pillars forming simultaneously.
The architecture of the new reality.
Precisely. First, OpenAI is building the centralized AGI brain at all costs. They are sacrificing popular products like Sora just to hoard raw compute and reasoning power. Second, the broader tech ecosystem is birthing these highly specialized autonomous agents. Agents with mapped emotions designed to execute our daily work while we shift to managing them.
Right.
And third, SpaceX is cementing the physical hardware layer. From terrestrial data centers all the way up into low Earth orbit, they're building the physical infrastructure to ensure it all runs seamlessly.
It is a staggering amount of change to process. The speed of this evolution is accelerating.
Yeah.
We started this deep dive staring at a $122 billion war chest. We ended staring up at a $1.75 trillion satellite network.
The scale of ambition in the tech sector right now is unprecedented.
I want to leave you with a lingering thought today. Something to mull over.
Okay.
We discussed OpenAI actively building an automated AI researcher, a machine that can recursively improve its own code.
Right.
We also discussed a decentralized space-based hardware network entirely controlled by a single company. If both of these massive gambles succeed, what happens to the concept of human oversight? Silence. If the intelligence is infinitely self-improving and the hardware running it is orbiting miles above our atmosphere, how do we ever pull the plug?
That might be the defining question of our generation.
Thank you for joining us on this deep dive. We will catch you next time.